estate sector in Kenya is populated by bogus land brokers and unqualified housing agents. But now there is a new attempt by the Estate Agent Registration Board to clean the industry.
The current law does not really, help to enforce matters of registration. And we are currently in the process of finding a way, working with the Ministry of Lands and the Attorney General to review the Act.
This week on Inside Government, our conversation revolves around cleaning the mess in Kenya's housing industry. And we are talking to the chairperson of EARB, Eunice Macharia, right here on KBC Channel 1.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email newsroom@kbc.co.ke, call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Good evening, welcome to Prime Edition. I am Cynthia Nyamai and our sign interpreter is Lucy Mwaura. Remember, would like to hear from you. Send us some of your feedback and stories that you would like us to cover for you on KBC Channel 1 on Twitter and also on Facebook. Moving on now, a cloud of uncertainty has engulfed the Kenya medical supplies over a directive that all non-core staff should work from home. Whereas the authority board explained that the action was among a raft of reforms aimed at addressing challenges affecting its services delivery, some of the staff and senators deemed the work from home directive as a precursor to mass sacking of staff.
In the wake of reports that the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority was planning to lay off as much as half of its workforce, the authority's board today came out seeking to set the record straight. KEMSA chairperson Mary Modime said a report by a multi-agency task force formed in July to provide a recovery strategy revealed financial and supply chain bottlenecks undermining service delivery.
The third one is warehousing and distribution, where we have chaos, and this is manifest through dead stock, purchase of non-priority items, and poor optimization of distribution models. There is also number 4, where we have procurement chaos. Here we experience long lead times as a result of operating inefficiencies.
The findings of the report, dubbed KEMSA Immediate Action Plan and Medium-Term Reforms, led to the board's decision to inform members of staff this morning that all non-core staff members are to work from home.
The core operating teams and our caretaker management team have been notified, appointed, and mobilized to ensure seamless operations in the intervening period.
Staff at the authority are, however, of the idea that this work-from-home order is a layoff in disguise.
There's no working from home. This is sacking. No working from home. Our work involves working from here. We engage the suppliers from here.
Sentiments echoed by some senators who further claimed a plot to replace the sacked staff with the National Youth Service officers.
Why would the new board now send the staff to go and work from home? The plan by this board also, Madam Speaker, is that after the 30-day period is over, all the staff of KEMSA, 900 of them, will be fired.
Ordinary Kenyans are being jailed left, right, and center for stealing. But when it comes to powerful people, you send people packing and you send KDF and NYS. It's time we call it the way it is. Theft, cover-up. And Madam Speaker, why this is unfortunate is because this is going to affect our counties. Yes. This is the only source of procurement of drugs. It's a monopoly.
It is very unfortunate, Madam Speaker, that 900 ordinary junior employees within KEMSA are being sacrificed at the altar of protection of powerful individuals within government and within KEMSA fraternity, Madam Speaker.
Hii inaonyesha kwamba hapa Kenya hakuna haki. Mnyonge msonge. Hakuna haki kabisa.
KEMSA, however, said the move will facilitate a review of the organizational structure and will be undertaken expeditiously. Yusufar reporting for Prime Edition.
Now to the scales of justice, where the Nairobi High Court has released 6 police officers charged with the murder of the 2 Kianjakoma brothers on a cash bail of 300,000 and a bond of 3 million shillings. The 2 who had pleaded not guilty on 2 accounts of murder have also been barred from going to the murder scene in Kianjakoma, Embu County.
Appearing before Justice Daniel Ogembo of the Milimani Locusts, the 6 police officers include Benson Buthia, Consolata Kariuki, Nicholas Cheruyot, Martin Wanyama, Lilian Cherono and James Mwaniki, who had earlier pleaded not guilty to 2 accounts of murder for 2 brothers from Kianjakoma, have been freed on a cash bail of 300,000 Kenyan shillings and a bond of 3 million shillings.
The court has listened to the facts. The courts have seen the parents who are here and has released the police officers. And to me, as a practicing advocate in the criminal court, I do appreciate.
The court has at the same time barred the police officers from going to Kianjakoma in Embu, where the murder is alleged to have happened. The 2 will appear in court, whereby the case will be mentioned on the 10th of November. Elsewhere, 3 traders have been arrested in connection with the sale of illicit brew that claim 10 lives have been arraigned in Nakuru court but do not plead to the murder charges. Anastasia Njeri, Josephat Mwaniki and Albert Mashaya, who appeared before Justice Hilary Chemitei, were however remanded at Nakuru JK prison awaiting plea taking on Monday. They are facing 10 charges of murder. For Prime Edition, I'm Serafina Robbie.
Now, eligible Kenyans have until 5 p.m. tomorrow to register as voters. This is after the High Court on Thursday lifted orders prohibiting the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission from ending the enhanced mass voter registration exercise. Justice Eric Ogola said that the ruling on the matter will be issued on November 25th.
Eligible Kenyans who are yet to register as voters have until the end of Friday this week to do so, failure to which they will be locked out of the enhanced mass voter registration exercise. This is after a High Court in Eldoret lifted orders prohibiting the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission from ending the enhanced mass voter registration exercise. This exercise, which was launched on the 4th of October, was initially meant to end on 2nd November 2021, but the Commission was compelled to extend it to November 9th after a petitioner successfully challenged the Commission's deadline. In his petition, Patrick Toroitich Cherono had sought orders from the court to compel IEBC to continue with the mass registration to allow more citizens to register, citing a low turnout across the country. The Thursday orders by the court, however, come as a win for IEBC, which had told the court that it had exhausted the 1.27 billion shillings allocated for the enhanced voter registration and could only extend it if more funds are allocated. The conservatory orders extending the mass voter registration period will take effect tomorrow at 5 p.m. Justice Eric Ogola is expected to rule on the case filed by an Eldoret-based activist on November 25th, 2021. For Prime Edition, I'm Safin Acheng Oma.
Ford Kenya has endorsed Moses Wetangula as the party's presidential candidate in the 2022 general elections. Wetangula urging his core principals in the One Kenya Alliance to back him in his quest, even as he promised to revive the agricultural sector, offer tax relief and support single mothers if elected under Oka.
Principals Kalonzo Musyoka and Gideon Moi. However, conspicuously missing was the ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi, who was represented by the Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala.
On behalf of ANC Party, tumekuja kukuonyesha kwamba ANC and Ford Kenya are like conjoined twins.
During the conference, Ford Kenya endorsed Moses Wetangula as its presidential candidate for the 2022 general election. Wetangula highlighting reforms in the agricultural sector, tax reduction and support for single mothers as the key areas he would focus on if elected.
That we shall deliberately ensure that while agriculture is a devolved function, the policy level of agriculture remains with the national government.
With Oka yet to announce its coalition flag bearer, Wetangula would take this opportunity to ask for his core principal support.
God knows who among us will be the 5th president of Kenya. And I want to pray to you, God, that that person be none other than yours truly, Weta.
Who would have thought that there will be a time that Ford Kenya and KANU wataonja tear gas pamoja, watatembea pamoja.
The Oka principals now say that their plan to reform Kenya was more viable, dismissing the bottoms-up approach being fronted by the Deputy President William Ruto and the monthly stipends promised by the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga.
Sio mtu ambao unapatiwa bahasha alafu mnapigana pale, wengine wanaumia. I'm told a young man in Bone is now living without his manhood. Did you hear me? Yani amepigwa kwa sababu amepatiwa shilingi 29,000 kugawa. Anakimbizana naye, anatolewa private parts.
You cannot promise Kenyans that you will be living on handout. Unaambia Savula ukiamuka asubuhi mwisho wa mwezi ngojea 6,000.
Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
Still in politics, Deputy President Dr. William Ruto on Thursday intensified the hustler narrative in the Western region, appealing to Bungoma residents to back his presidential bid. Ruto, who returns the vast Western region less than a fortnight after he toured Kakamega, took a swipe at ODM leader Raila Odinga for what he termed as interference with the Jubilee agenda.
Ruto says his government will be keen in fulfilling the interests of the common man and also claimed that unity of the nation will be a priority.
Na wapange chama vizuri, kwa sababu sasa unaona wanaume kila mtu wako hapo na chama yake. Sasa nyinyi mtaunganisha Kenya namna gani mpaka muunde serikali kama kila mtu wako na chama yake? Si ni confusion? Mnagawanya wa Kenya, chama hii, sijui chama hii, sijui chama hii. Mimi nawauliza hawa ndugu zangu, jameni, tafuteni candidate mulete. Pangeni sera yenu, muambie wananchi. Na mupange chama vile tutaunganisha Kenya. Tukutane kwa kiwanja.
Meanwhile, a day after Ruto and his ally termed the Jubilee Party as a party on its deathbed, Jubilee Parliamentary Caucus has hinted plans to reorganize the party at a national delegates conference slated for end of this month. In a staunch statement in which the party says it has strategically positioned itself to be part of the next government. Also claimed it was wrong for Ruto and his allies to still hold the position when it's promoting the interest of another party. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mungai.
6 people died when bandits attacked a vehicle they were traveling in along the Marsabit-Batasa Road in Marsabit Central sub-county Thursday evening. 11 other passengers sustained gunshot injuries and were rushed to Marsabit County Referral Hospital, where they are undergoing treatment. Marsabit Central Deputy County Commissioner David Saruni confirmed the incident that occurred after 5 kilometers from Marsabit town. Marsabit Governor Muhammad Ali condemned the attack and urged police to arrest the perpetrators.
Organized criminals targeted a canter which the locals normally use to ferry foodstuffs, and even is also used as passenger mode of transport. I take this opportunity to condemn this heinous act, as I condole with the bereaved families and those who are in hospital, and I pray that they recover.
Well, news just coming in Samburu North near Barigoi, OCPD Samson Rotich has confirmed that 14 people are dead and 9 also rustlers have been injured. That is in Samburu North. We will be sharing more details on that story. That is breaking news. That's a story that has just come in. We'll get more details for you. Now, moving on, a cloud of uncertainty that story is coming up shortly, I'm told. Let's take a short break, and after that, details on Samburu and also an interesting story on Kenya Power, where 15 of its workers have been asked to go home. Coming up shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of the Republic of Kenya, followed by the national anthem of the United States of America.
Kenya Defence Forces, KDF, announces the recruitment of General Service Officers, GSO Cadets, Specialist Officers, General Duty Recruits, Tradesmen and Women, and Constables scheduled for the month of November 2021. Listen to Radio Taifa during the entire month of November 2021 for details of the recruitment process. Then grab your local newspaper, The Daily Nation, 7th of November. The Star on the 5th of November, while the Standard will have those details 14th of November and 9th of November on MyGov inside this Standard newspaper. The People's Daily on the 8th of November and 12th of November. Remember, no one can influence the recruitment process because bribery and other acts of corruption are against the law. Report any suspicious activities or characters to the nearest police station or military camp, or call hotline numbers 0726419709 or 01203000599. KDF recruitment is absolutely free to all.
Serikali ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta imeweka mikakati kabambe ya kuinua viwango vya tasnia ya michezo nchini Kenya.
My government has and will continue to support you.
Mikakati hii ni pamoja na ujumuishaji wa michezo kwenye mtaala mpya wa elimu ya umilisi KBC.
So if they start introducing that at the lower level and then this kid grows knowing that he's an athlete, he'll get into very high levels at a very young age.
Kwa uhondo huu,
they put their boots on the ground to defend and protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Republic of Kenya. After thorough training, another lot of recruits is now ready for that active patriotic duty. Catch KBC Channel 1 for live coverage of Kenya Defence Forces pass-out parade from Moi Barracks, Eldoret.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
Welcome back. We can hear the fireworks right here in the studio. Happy Diwali to all our listeners celebrating Diwali tonight. Now, moving on, the Kenya National Qualifications Authority has partnered with other state agencies to crack down on individuals holding fake academic papers. KNQA chairperson Dr. Kilema Mwiria says the partnership with the DCI Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and the Director of Public Prosecutions will cover more than a third of Kenya's private and government workers believed to have fake certificates. More of this and other stories in our county briefs.
Speaking in Kisumu during a stakeholder meeting, Dr. Mwiria said the exercise will uproot people who are thought to use fake papers in securing jobs.
It is important that we have young people, men and women, who have certificates they can use out there, locally, regionally and internationally, but more importantly, for that certificate to be worth the paper on which it is written.
Meanwhile, about 792 ECDE learning centers in Kericho County have received a boost after the county government flagged off learning materials valued at 15.6 million shillings to the centers.
This is in line with our interest to make sure that our children get the best facilities and so that they are competitive.
Elsewhere, 10,000 families in Embus, Mbere North and South sub-counties have benefited from a food donation exercise sponsored by the government. This follows a failed rainy season that rendered thousands of locals food insecure.
Kuna chakula zile za kienyeji ambazo sisi tumefundishwa na mababu zetu, kama sogam, kama ile wimbi, nduma. Hizo ndio zinaita drought resistant crops. Naomba mpande hizo ili tusiwe na hali ya njaa.
In Trans Nzoia County, a family in Khanyiki village in Kiminini is mourning their son after he was allegedly killed by a man believed to be a member of a notorious gang in the area. The family says their son Derek Sabatia was killed by one Richard Sitati after an altercation following the discovery of an affair with the deceased sister, a former student.
Mfanya walikuwa na vita kubwa sana, akakata kijana yangu shingo. Hata male alianguka, kuna damu mpaka saa hizi. Sasa ninaomba msaada kwa serikali.
Elsewhere, A family in Siaya County is in distress after failing to find the whereabouts of their kin 2 weeks after she went missing. The family says their daughter, 40-year-old Scholastica Opado, has been missing since October 16th.
We have reported this to the Yala police station, and they have done their best, but so far we have not seen her dead or alive.
Finally, fish traders in Muhuru Bay, Migori County, are protesting against harassment and exploitation by revenue officers. The traders claim they are taxed several times when transporting omena fish from Migori to Nairobi.
Hii kazi ya uvuvi na usafirishaji wa dagaa imeshatuchosa kama sisi. Na ituchoshi kwamba eti kwamba kuna shida nyingine. Shida inakuwa ni serikali inayofaa kutulinda. Maana kuna unyanyasaji mwingi sana.
Yusuf Hilo, Prime Edition.
The real estate sector in Kenya is populated by bogus land brokers and unqualified housing agents. But now there is a new attempt by the Estate Agent Registration Board to clean the industry.
The current law does not really, help to enforce matters of registration. And we are currently in the process of finding a way, working with the Ministry of Lands and the Attorney General to review the Act.
This week on Inside Government, our conversation revolves around cleaning the mess in Kenya's housing industry. And we're talking to the chairperson of EARB, Eunice Macharia, right here on KBC Channel 1.
Kwambia kwa hiyo nyumba ni sukari tu sugar sukari
wanalitanga baby face mheshimiwa.
Wewe nani?
Si mimi ni baby face.
Wewe ni baby face.
Si ndio?
Hebu niangalie.
Angalia. Nilikwambia sikutaki.
Nani anakutaka kwanza?
Kwa umenitungia ni organize form ya kwenda Mayolos.
Nitatoa nguo. Nitalaani nyinyi. Nikucheza na
kizungu mingi, pombe na kizungu mingi, pombe na kizungu mingi, pombe na kizungu mingi, pombe na kizungu mingi.
All right, that was incredible. The energy, oh man, I really felt it.
Welcome back. Now, the Kenya Power has sent home 59 managers and employees working in the supply chain division to pave way for a forensic audit to identify possible areas of leakages within the utility farm. In a statement to newsrooms, the company said it has appointed a team in acting capacity to ensure business continuity in the interim. Kenya Power says the latest decision is in line with the recent Presidential Task Force report that proposed a raft of measures, including reforming the supply chain division to guarantee value for money, professionalism and accountability. Now, Kenya could be at it again. fighting desert locusts days after the country had declared locusts free by the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization. Swarms of desert locusts have flown into Mandera county from Ethiopia, with residents and area leaders are now calling for swift response to avert the spread of the desert locusts to other parts of the country.
In 2020, a desert locust invasion said to be the worst in 70 years ravaged farmlands just before the harvest period, destroying crops and pasture. The northern region was the worst hit, and food security for 3 million people was under threat. Efforts to fight the invasion went on for months, with the country being declared locust-free on 1st of November. 2 days later, the locusts are back. 3 large swarms were spotted in Mandera County, blown in from southern Ethiopia by strong wind.
All these swarms are coming from Ethiopia. They are coming mature, yellow and copulating. They might also lay eggs in our county because some substrates where they have roasted for the night are conducive. The soil is soft and it is moist.
Pastoralists are worried that the desert locusts will destroy the scarce pasture in the area. They are appealing for swift response to contain the pests before they spread to other parts of the country.
Now that the locust is here with us, and they are coming, in fact, they are coming one after the other in large numbers. We want all concerned parties to help us counter so that we save at least some of our animals and pasture.
The desert locusts have invaded about 2,000 hectares of land in Mandera County. This is the 3rd year in a row that Kenya is witnessing a desert locust invasion. Prime Edition.
Posting inappropriate content, defamation, impersonation, fraud or inciting members of the public will lead to prosecution. This follows the launch of the National Computer and Cyber Crimes Coordination Committee that will, among others, receive and act on reports relating to cyber crimes. Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i has urged the committee to fast-track policies that help deal with spiraling online crime in the country.
Cybercrime is fast becoming a major threat in Kenya, with online criminals targeting all sectors of the economy.
Things that we're trying to achieve as government, people will take clips from Ghana, clips from South Africa, and bring them and say this is what is happening. And they feel that they can hide behind both the laws or lack, and they fought to get us where we are now.
To bolster security defenses, the government has launched the National Computer and Cyber Crimes Coordination Committee that will, among others, receive and act on reports relating to cyber and computer crimes.
And we can now deal with them decisively and quickly. And as you've heard from PS Interior, he'd like to arrest some of those today.
The operationalization of the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act of 2018 established a multi-agency National Computer and Cybercrime Coordination Committee and Secretariat to provide oversight, monitor implementation and enforcement of the relevant policies on cybersecurity and computer systems.
We have just started with the formation of the NC4. We have not even begun to scratch the surface of what we need to do as a country. Now is the time for all of us, all institutions involved in the NC4 and so on, to begin to think about massive investment in cybersecurity.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i has called for inclusive capacity building in tech, human resource by government and private sector, saying it was key for prosperity in the global digital era.
Also, I think we may have to look for a way of dealing with some of those animals, and then look at the law, NC4, and see how do we get now these guys, how do we deal with some of these people in a manner that will enable them achieve an opportunity of being trained or being helped within the prison walls to learn how to live with others. Finally, it's my very sincere call to all of us.
The Interior CS is further urging the public to be careful, since posting inappropriate content like defamation, impersonation, fraud, or inciting members of the public will lead to prosecution. The National Kenya Computer Incident Report Team Coordination Center, however, warns that cyber criminals have been developing powerful tools with the increase in uptake of technology.
Cybersecurity, cybercrime becomes critical in the manner in which we order our society.
Going forward, eyes are trained on the committee to see the kind of framework they will develop to minimize cases of cybercrime in the country. Regina Manyara reporting for Prime Edition. The East African Community was created envisioning smooth flow of persons and goods between member states, an increase in inter-regional trade. However, trade tiffs among member states continue slowing down this process, which has often prompted the regional bloc and concerned states to institute measures to restore cordial relations. Our business reporter Benson Rioba takes us through the challenges and quest for resolution in this week's edition of EAC Integration.
Within the East African Community bloc reduced by 5.5% in 2020 to $5.9 billion, blamed on the COVID-19 pandemic that had a negative impact on trade. This after each member state implemented tough border entry measures in a bid to contain the spread of the virus, a move that nearly collapsed the cross-border trade. Despite this, member states have had differences about commodities moving across borders.
We have not stopped the importation of maize from Uganda or Tanzania. What we have done and what the authorities has done is check the quality of the maize. And actually, if they release to you document, you will see 6 months ago there was that warning that the maize is not safe. And that information was communicated to them. So it's not like it's a sudden decision, it is just a compliant decision.
Kenya and Uganda are yet to resolve issues around importation of sugar and dairy products. The tiff started in 2019 when Kenya banned importation of Ugandan milk on account of rule of origin, arguing that the volume exported by Uganda had tremendously increased, raising suspicion that the neighboring country could be importing milk powder that was being processed to long-life milk, then exported to Kenya.
Respective trade ministries within the countries that are involved, and they are brought and openly discussed within the sectoral council at the East African Community level, and oftentimes it's just making sure that the source of these products are very clear and they are verified to the satisfaction of all member states.
Last year, Kenya also questioned the volume of sugar being imported. Uganda responded to the trade restriction by imposing higher tariffs on Kenyan goods such as juices and roofing materials. In a bid to iron out the trade differences, delegations from the two countries have been engaging in talks. The latest is that a delegation from Kenya is this month expected to travel to Uganda on a fact-finding tour to verify claims that sugar and milk imported from Uganda originate from the landlocked country and that the neighboring country was not flouting the EAC rules of origin regulation.
We are also getting competition from Uganda because of their feeds are cheap, our feeds are slightly high. We are working closely with them. We want to improve.
Kenya and Tanzania have also had trade issues that have led to strained trade relations. Most of these issues between Kenya and Tanzania were resolved during the visit to Kenya in May by President Samia Suluhu.
I mean, that is available in the statistics data. Yes, it has. I've told you they have improved and it is now in their favor in a much better way than it has been before.
Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, moving on now, the government has earmarked 3 billion shillings to support export of livestock products in efforts to improve the quality of Kenyan livestock products and accessibility to international markets. The cash will finance implementation of an export of a port in Lamu, as well as the livestock identification traceability strategy. Betty Kitum reports.
Kenya has previously relied on the European Union as its top processed beef market. At one time in the 1970s, about 66% of canned beef produced by KMC was being sold to Europe. In 2016, the EU banned importation of Kenyan beef on food safety concerns, especially affecting livestock from the arid and semi-arid areas. Through the livestock identification and traceability strategy, the government plans to ensure that livestock and their products can be traced throughout the value chain.
The government, we have budgeted for 3 billion. We want to create export processing zone, especially in Lamu. We have already, we are working, there's a multi-sectoral committee that is working on that. We want to fence that area. We want to develop, put their laboratories. We want to put the sheds where the animals will be. And we have developed 4 disease-free zones.
This is part of efforts of improving the quality of Kenyan livestock products and accessibility to international markets, which have high standards.
That each and every animal that we are exporting, or each and every product that we are, animal product that we are exporting, should be able to be traced. And that's why we, some of them are even insisting that animals should have passports, so that they're able to trace the history of the animal, whether it is had any disease, because some of the animal diseases are also zoonotic. And that's why this conference is here.
Through the strategy, data-driven interventions will be implemented to ensure food safety through the controlled use of drugs to reduce cases of antibiotic resistance in humans.
When animals are vaccinated, when they are treated, it is known who treated the animal, what was the ingredients, active ingredients that were used to that animal, and so that we are able to see if there are challenges or there are problems with the probably foot and mouth rabies that is transmitted either by dogs or cats.
Kenya has lost some of its livestock markets due to the low quality of meat as well as the lack of traceability of the livestock. Now, with the launch of the livestock identification and traceability strategy, the government hopes to ensure that all livestock are traceable and that the quality of meat produced meets the international standards. Betty Kiptum, Prime Edition.
Now to FarmWise, where dairy farmers are being encouraged to consider substituting Napier grass with a new sorghum variety that has high protein content, proven to increase milk yields. Tonight on FarmWise, we focus on the cultivation dual-purpose sorghum variety that is taking root in semi-arid regions.
This is freshly harvested 8 tons of new variety sorghum that is currently still on trial. While traditional sorghum has been cultivated mainly for human consumption, this new variety has been developed as fodder.
We have put quite a number of acreage under forage, what we call the dual-purpose forage sorghum. Is the sorghum for both feed and food. I think conventionally people know sorghum as a food in many areas, but we also have varieties that are good for both feed for livestock and food for human consumption.
Livestock farmers in most parts of the country have been relying on Napier grass for fodder, but now experts want them to substitute it with the new sorghum variety that is more nutritious for increased milk production. The sorghum variety, which is rich in proteins, is expected to drastically reduce the cost of animal feeds in the country, as it can substitute the expensive soya, which has been traditionally the main source of proteins for animal feed producers.
Protein content is very high, in excess of 15% protein content, whereas Napier grass is below 9% protein content. So when you look at it, it's very good food for dairy cattle, for improving milk production, and also because of the quality, its quality, it can be very good in making silage for dairy cows.
The sorghum, which has long straws, is drought resistant, making it suitable to be grown for most parts of the country.
This area is somehow a lower altitude and is a kind of semi-arid. Actually, it's more arid, it receives less rainfall, but the temperatures are high.
The new hybrid variety is currently undergoing a seed multiplication program by the Kenya Agricultural, Livestock and Research Organization in conjunction with selected farmers in semi-arid areas ahead of commercialization.
Tukiona inafanya vizuri, hiyo ndo tutashika na tupande, itusaidie chakula. Baada ya chakula tunajua tukishibisha boma, tunajua hata tutapata pesa, hata tutaweza kuuza kidogo mazao na itusaidie chakula na matumizi mengine ndogo ndogo.
Baton for FarmWise.
Now, global electronic commerce is expected to jump by 16.8% this year to 500 trillion shillings in 2021, powered by the adoption of the technology in Kenya. The growth of e-commerce continues to outstrip traditional shopping habits, with sales expected to reach 200 billion shillings, according to Delberg's research group. The growth of the sector has new entrants like Wilfred Chege, the fourth-year student at JKUAT, who has set up an online shopping mall called Shule Mall that is changing e-commerce transaction in institutions of higher learning.
Rapid transformation of e-platforms and the growth of e-commerce have provided consumers with the most advanced channels and creative options for buying and selling through the online podium. In Kenya, e-commerce has been dominated by Jumia and Kilimall that accounts for 90% of online transactions. Due to the expected growth in the sector, the industry is attracting new investors like Shule Mall. The platform is the first online student shopping mall in Kenya, providing study materials and goods directly from manufacturers.
We offer essential services to the guardians and also luxury students, to the students and the guardians. We major on we have gone to various schools and we have checked. We have agent teachers in every school. So basically, we have to reach to every market in every school.
Ease of use and accessibility is the primary reason students and guardians are preferring the Shule Mall e-commerce platform via Play Store and other app store like iOS.
One of the things that we ensure doing that is our services are very efficient. You request from the app and we deliver in the shortest time possible, basically depending on the distance, with very affordable rates.
On the e-commerce platform, students have access to an online supermarket.
Ilirekomendiwa na a friend. Ilikuwa time ya corona come through. Yeah, the pandemic. So ilikuwa hard to get food kwa restaurants because walikuwa na restrict entry. But my friend akanirekomendia, kaniambia Shule Mall, they do a very good job.
The launch of the platform has enabled students to purchase products in a quick and easy way, compared to the past where students had to go to physical stores to access or buy study materials. Traditional forms of learning are changing because many people are choosing to improve skills using online learning, resulting in the growth of e-commercial platform. Wilfred Chege says he's an entrepreneur by passion.
In 2016, we just started with a supermarket. So the Shule Mall was just a website where we had we had listed products that were essential to students at the time.
He came together with his friends and worked on the idea which attracted the eye of strategic investors, allowing the team to launch Shule Mall Limited in March 2018. Shule Mall advanced its services to online delivery for both luxurious and consumer goods.
And it was a very simple idea then. It was just students shopping, we get their shopping, we deliver to school. And that is still the core model of the business, but we have added a few things here and there.
Chege says they will continue to expand their footprint to cover more products and reach more clients. The plan is to venture beyond the Kenyan borders and tap the regional markets. Shule Mall aims to provide high-quality study materials and sources directly from manufacturers. To date, Shule Mall has helped over 15,000 students procure the study materials. Reporting for Prime Edition, Macau McBrien.
Now, have you ever had your personal effects confiscated by customs officials at an airport? If yes, the reason is multi-pronged. You either failed to declare the items at the price you paid, or in case of a gift, you undervalued its genuine cost. Tonight on Tax 101, we tell you why it is important to declare any personal items you bought or inherited while abroad upon arrival at Kenya's point of entry.
Most Kenyans arriving or departing from the country's major international airports have had their personal effects confiscated for failing to comply with customs reporting guidelines. The number of undeclared personal effects seized from Kenyans re-entering the country has risen sharply in the last few years, according to the Kenya Revenue Authority. Personal effects such as clothing, footwear, handbags, paintings, human hair extensions and wigs, earrings dominate the list of confiscated items by custom officers. The law stipulates that all taxable items attract levies at rates determined by the value of money paid in a foreign country rather than factors such as quality, size and weight. According to KRA, all items purchased or inherited while abroad, like gifts, the merchandise you intend to sell or use in your business, or currencies above 1 million shillings, must be declared at customs upon arrival in Kenya. Any item bought at the duty-free shop, on ship or plane beyond the allowable limits must be also indicated to avoid seizure. The tax agency set the maximum duty collected on personal effects at 50,000 shillings in a bid to speed up the clearance of passengers at international airports. A passenger must state on the passenger declaration forms what one has actually paid for each item. The price should also include all taxes, and if you do not know, you estimate. Passengers departing from Kenya are also required to fill in a temporary importation form, P49, to declare items being shipped overseas for repair or accompanying tools and show the receipt during return as a declaration. Also, items bought or carried for business, promotional and commercial purposes need to be declared during departure for the purposes of taxes on return. Electronics like phones, video recorders and projectors bought while on a trip to Kenya must also be declared at the customs before departure. Travelers who flout these regulations risk having their items seized by custom officials at any port of entry.
Now, just imagine having a really bad hair day, and due to one reason or another, it is impossible for you to visit your favorite hair salon. But what if your hair salon could come to you with just a touch of a button? This is exactly what a Kenyan startup called Nyamai is facilitating through a mobile app that connects clients to a range of hairstylists and beauticians, as narrated by our reporter Alan Aoko on tonight's episode of Tech One.
At the height of the coronavirus pandemic, many Kenyans avoided movement, majorly due to health restrictions that led to the initial slowdown of client traffic to salons, barbers and cosmetic shops. This meant that there was a need to fall back onto solutions that will help people avoid unnecessary movements.
We started asking ourselves, wouldn't guys find this useful? Wouldn't they find home services useful? And after that, we started asking ourselves again, more than anything, how easy is it to book for even that home service? How do you know your options? How do you know someone is good? And why don't we have something central to give us all this info, plus help us just take care of ourselves?
In August 2019, fourth-year students at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology and the University of Nairobi embarked on a project, and Nyamai was born.
When we started, we thought we'd reach to every woman, working moms, like our moms, people who are in campus, all just the women in general. But being in the business, we've learned that there are specific people who do enjoy the comfort of getting their hair done at home.
Mercy Kiptui teamed up with her classmates Yvonne Elabonga and Victor Mungai from the University of Nairobi to come up with a service-oriented application. The application has several parameters, including options that allows a client to, among other features, select a hairstylist, book an appointment, and get consultant services.
You're able to go and see under your client side what you want to book, so there are different styles. And if you like the skills shown in any style, you can also customize it. If you have a photo like she did, you can also just upload the photo and we'll deliver what you asked for.
On this day, we found the team attending to a client in Thika Town, Kiambu County. We asked how client behavior and needs are driving uptake of such services.
The stylist was so patient with me and bared with me. And I didn't have some salons you go, you have the hassle of portioning the hair. So they just portion the hair for you, so you're just comfortable, relaxed in the environment that you're used to. Actually, the ones who have been consistent coming back are the ones who say we understand their needs. I'd give maybe one example. She comes back and she says, I have soft hair and I have little hair and I'm also tender-headed. So can you please recommend a style, or this is my need, I need this to be attended to.
Mercy and Yvonne say that they not only cater for women, adding that as word of the app grew, various clients with various specifications cropped up.
Men like us for the convenience and just the ease of ordering online. But the uptake has been good. People just want something simple that takes them through.
Proprietors of Nywele Nyumbani services now hope to scale up the radius of their business beyond borders as economies recover from the coronavirus disruptions.
It's stories like this that remind you that Kenya is a true gig economy, and who doesn't like convenience used through technology? Alana Oko, Tech One.
Thank you, Alan Oko, for that story. We'll be taking a short break, and after that, sports with Munga.
Do you have any idea what we could do with that much wealth? You can make any note that you want. One, the brown one is my favorite.
I have lost a grand total of 28,400 and I'll be very happy if I can get it by next week.
Ati next week? How about later today? Next week is a long time from now. We might just get another excuse. Today, Farah.
Classmates, every Saturday on KBC. You're going to be introduced to my exceptional professional presence.
And this means war.
Oh, good evening. I'm Richard Munga with a daily sports update. Now, Football Kenya Federation Chairman Nick Mwenda says the federation is yet to receive any response from the Ministry of Sport in regards to reasons that occasioned the ongoing inspection of the federation's finances. While appearing before the Senate Labour and Social Welfare Committee today, Mwenda said that the federation has so far complied with the ministry's initiative, despite the latter's reluctance to inform them of its objective. The impasse between the Ministry of Sport and Football Kenya Federation made its way to the Senate today after both parties received summons to appear before the Labour and Social Welfare Committee.
Let no one have the idea that the Senate or Parliament is trying to stop any audit. What we're looking at is process. What we're looking at is the best interest and how this has gotten to where it is. Because ultimately we will come to a determination, based on the facts, based on the evidence and based on the law.
And while FKF appeared to respond questions in regard to the ongoing inspection of their finances,
Chair, I want to personalize it. If today this honorable committee were to ask me, Barry Otieno, to produce my M-Pesa statements from 2016 and any supporting documents, Chair, it would be impossible to peruse and reach a conclusive decision that I did right or wrong under 2 hours. And so we were shocked that the inspectors took just under maybe 4 hours to peruse these voluminous documents from FKF.
It was revealed that Sports Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed had prior written to the committee requesting to appear before the committee next week. Instead, FKF, while maintaining its innocence amid claims of misappropriation of funds, said they are yet to be informed of the objective of the inspection despite writing to the ministry.
In 3 years in office, never written a letter or by call or called a meeting and raised a concern to you, causes an inspection, then you're worried. And then when you pick it up and you write to her and she does not respond, Chair, then you're even further worried.
You say that you're not given the reasons and you asked what are the reasons for inspection. Which law says that you should be given reasons? Because the Sports Act does not ask for you to be given any reason for the inspection. It just says the registrar at any time can cause an inspection. So there's no explicit provision of you being told the reason. But it would be a good thing to do, but there's no explicit provision.
The sitting shall resume next week on Thursday. Oh, more to follow on that, and of course the next sitting being next week on Thursday, where Sports Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed is expected, of course, to show up after she asked for more time and missed today's sitting. Moving on to other matters, Vihiga Queens arrived in Egypt and kicked off their training out of the first CAF Women's Champions League, which will kick off tomorrow. Vihiga Queens will open their campaign with a tricky tie against South Africa's Mamelodi Sundowns. The Kenyan girls beat Ethiopia's Central Bank in a scintillating final, making amends after losing to the same side in their first group match. The 2021 tournament will be held from 5th to 19th November. A total of eight teams will compete in the group stages of this year's final. KBC and Y254 will bring you live some of the CAF matches. And to other matters now, the Queen's Baton left for Uganda this morning after starting 3-day stay in the country. The road towards Commonwealth Games in 2022 in Birmingham began after the Baton arrived in the country on the 2nd of November from Cameroon, Kenya being its 8th destination, and was received by NOC athlete representative Humphrey Hayange, who doubled up as the Baton manager. Sports Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Amina Mohammed launched the Queen's Baton Relay at Arboretum, Nairobi on Tuesday in an event attended by the National Olympic Committee of Kenya NOC Executive Committee, led by the President Dr. Paul Tergat, athletes and federation officials. The Queen's Baton went into its final leg in Kenya yesterday at Ngong Hills, a key training facility for Kenyan athletes and champions.
I'd like to thank our partners who supported us through this journey, and we look forward to your partnerships and support heading into Birmingham 2022.
The relay ended the day yesterday with a visit to State House, where the First Lady, Her Excellency Margaret Kenyatta, received the baton, officially launching the 2022 Birmingham Commonwealth Games in Kenya, with NOC Chair Tergat promising to ensure Kenya takes a strong squad to England for the showcase that runs from the 28th of July 2022 to the 8th of August 2022.
We have been privileged to have athletes, past, present and future, join us in our celebration of the Queen's Baton Relay. We'd like to thank our partners who supported us through this journey, and we look forward to your partnerships and support heading into Birmingham 2022.
Humphrey Hayange travelled today morning to Uganda, where Uganda Olympic Committee President Donald Rukare received the baton. Now, the sound of the crackle of rally exhaust filled the air Thursday morning at the Karen waterfront as a mini version of the East Africa Safari Classic Rally took off in earnest. Teams from countries including USA, Bulgaria, UK, Zimbabwe, Oman and South Africa are competing for the ultimate prize against the strong Kenyan representation, which includes former winner Ian Duncan.
The 3-day event will cover over 1,000 kilometers across the tough but stunning Amboseli terrain synonymous with the world's greatest classic rally. This mini rally is being held as precursor to the 10th edition that is set to take place on 10th to 18th of February 2022, and all plans have been put in place to ensure motorsport are treated to a spectacular show. Leading the Kenyan charge will be Eric Bengi and navigator Gatimo Mindo, who competed in this year's 2021 WRC Safari Rally, competing in the East African Safari Classic for the first time in an iconic rally car, the Datsun 180B. Other Maki Rally brands such as Ford, Skoda and Peugeot are joined by raid vehicles, including cars and buggies from CRT and Land Rover. In consultation with the Ministry of Health, the event's competitors, organizers, sponsors and support staff will adhere to strict COVID-19 protocols, including mandatory and regular PCR test, social distancing and wearing of masks. Daniel Mwendwa, Sports.
Oh, that brings us to the end of KBC Sports News with me, Richard Munga. But just before I go, taking this chance to, of course, wish those celebrating the Festival of Lights, that is Diwali, a happy Diwali and a happy, happy festivities, and wishing them happiness and health to last them through the year. Do have a lovely night. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Munga, for sports and all the action. We're coming to a close, but just before we close, a comment here from Agnes Kimani from Nairobi, and she's asking, again, the Tech One story. What is the name of the app? It is called Nywele Nyumbani. From me and the rest of the team right here in studio, have a good night.